Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar, How to Use Video Marketing to Attract Your Ideal Client, presented by Gerry Oginski. My name is Stephanie Phelan, and I'm a marketing manager at MyCase, and I will be your host today. I'd like to give you a few tips first about participating on GoToWebinar. The webinar control panel is on the right-hand side of your screen. This is where you may submit questions and where you will see polls come up throughout the presentation. We save all of your questions until the end of the presentation. That's when Gerry will answer what we've collected throughout the webinar. Also, please note that we are recording this webinar and it will be available by the end of the day tomorrow on the MyCase blog, and it will also be emailed to all our registrants. Today's webinar is hosted by MyCase, so before we jump into things, I'd like to give a quick overview. MyCase is a web-based law practice management software that takes care of your daily practice requirements for calendaring, contact management, document management and templates, time and billing, client communications, custom workflows, and more in one solution at a very affordable price. MyCase is priced for solo and small firms at just $39 a month per attorney and $29 per month for a paralegal or support staff. And our next slide, we also offer MyCase websites for our customers. We use a modern, professional design built for your firm. The websites contain social media and blog integration, and best of all, complete integration with MyCase practice management software. Now you and your customers can log into MyCase directly from your website. Last but not least, we enjoy hosting educational events for professionals in the legal industry, and that is why we are here today. Now let me tell you a little bit about our presenter. Gerry Oginski is a New York medical malpractice and accident trial lawyer and a lawyer video marketing expert. Gerry has been in practice since 1988. He has worked for a defense firm on Wall Street, a personal injury firm in Brooklyn, and a large law firm in Queens. Ever since 2002, Gerry has been a solo practitioner, and the name of his firm is the Law Office of Gerald M. Oginski, LLC. Gerry has built a successful practice largely due to his video marketing efforts. He had his skeptics at first, including his own wife, who said at the start, "An attorney on video? I would never watch a lawyer on video." He has been shown her the benefits of video marketing and will be happy to share his knowledge with you all today. Thank you for being here today, Gerry. I'm going to hand the mic over to you now.
Thank you, Stephanie. What a great introduction. All right, welcome everybody on the call. I want to share with you an important point as we get started right now. Objection! I direct you not to answer that question. That's the title of a video I created. Ask yourself, why would I create a title like that for a video? How about this title? The defense thought my client was a liar, but yet they still paid him 6 figures to settle his case. That's the title of another video I created. Ask yourself, why would I create the title with that particular information in it? How about this one? Why would I discontinue a case against 2 OBGYNs in a failure to diagnose cancer case? That's another title that I created. As we go through these titles, I want you to ask yourself, why would I possibly create a title like this instead of a generic title that says, hey, I'm a New York med mal or personal injury attorney practicing in New York? What you're going to find in just a moment is that if you do not have a clear and concise video marketing strategy for each and every video that you create, you are losing key opportunities to connect with your ideal client online. Let's take a look at another headline. Top New York City orthopedist puts knee replacement in the wrong place. Now, do you think this type of headline is intriguing and more interesting than what you typically see? Now, more importantly, ask yourself this question: who is this title for? That's one of the key things you need to be asking yourself. Always understand and always try and figure out, who is this video for based on the title that you see here? Okay, for those of you who don't know what Pawn Stars is, it is a show on the History Channel. It's a fascinating show based out of Las Vegas, but I created a title with this headline, Pawn Stars. Imagine if personal injury cases were negotiated like the way people selling to a pawn shop did. Who do you think this title is for? The bottom line is, if you don't have a key strategy for understanding exactly who it is you're trying to attract, what will happen then is that you will lose key opportunities to attract your ideal clients who are actively looking for you online. So let me share with you some brief, great information on today's journey as I share with you why it's so important to have a clear and concise video marketing strategy. Now, this reason number one, if you don't understand this, I want to explain it very clearly. You have to understand the mindset of a consumer who goes online. So let's break it down. Someone has a legal problem. Now, assuming they don't know someone who knows an attorney that they can refer them to, and they don't personally know an attorney, where do they go for information? Well, nowadays, most everybody's going online to look for information. They're going onto Google. They're going onto other search platforms. And what are they typing in? They're typing in information about their legal problem. Let's say it's an accident case. They want to know how much time they have to file a car accident case in New York. Or maybe they want to learn more information about fractured femurs and how long it takes to heal following a car accident and surgery. So now, once you begin to understand the mindset of somebody who's actually going online to look for information, you can begin to craft a strategy that will allow you the ability to create great content focusing on your ideal client and consumer. So now, reason number one that people will not find you is because they can't find what they are looking for. They're looking for specific information. And if you don't provide them with specific information relating to their particular problem, they will go elsewhere. Your goal as an attorney who's learning to market yourself, market your law firm, is to create great content. I'm a firm believer in education-based content. And now, if you can create information that your viewers are actively looking for through video, what will happen is the moment they press the play button after seeing that title, all of a sudden they're going to get that feeling of, hey, this guy's talking to me. This guy Oginski is talking to me. That's my problem. Now, all of a sudden, they get sucked into the video. They start learning more information about something they didn't know. Now, that's a dramatic difference than many of the videos we see today. Many of them are still just generic videos saying, hey, we practice 12 different types of law. You should come to us because I've been doing this 25 years. Well, that's not what this is about. Video is an entirely different ballgame. So reason number one is because consumers can't find the information they're looking for. Number two. Here we are, poll number one. Stephanie, take it away.
Thank you. Yes, I'll go ahead and launch that poll now. And the question is, are you using video to market your law firm? So please select one of the following. Yes, I have video on my website. I do, but the video looks like my dog filmed it. Or, nope, but I'm ready to start. So please go ahead and submit your answers there.
And there's a very important reason why I asked that question. And I'm going to get to the answer in a moment. But if you have started to use video to market your practice, what you need to know is that the information you're going to learn on this call today will dramatically help how you look at your videos and improve the strategies that you're using in order to help you literally revolutionize what you're doing with video. And if you're not yet using video, I'm going to share with you how drastic that is in just a moment when Stephanie tells me the results of this quick poll, so that now you'll begin to understand the significance and the importance of creating video to market your practice today. And I'm going to share with you some amazing statistics about the power of video and the power of video marketing.
Okay, so the results are in, and it looks like 22% have video on their website, 3% had their dog film it, and 74% are really ready to start. So they're actually in the right webinar, Gerry, and we'll let you take it from there.
Excellent. Thank you, Stephanie. So for those of you who are not yet creating video, here's an important point. Are you invisible to the second largest search engine in the world? Now, why do I ask that question? I guarantee you that everybody on this call today is spending time, energy, and resources to get their website ranked on the first page of Google. Well, if you have not yet created video to market your practice, what you are doing is literally you are intentionally ignoring the second largest search engine in the world, which is YouTube. Who owns YouTube? Google does. Google is directly connected, interconnected with YouTube. And I don't say this facetiously, I say this as a fact. So if you are spending all that time and energy to get your website ranked on the first page of Google, now, if you don't have any video whatsoever, you are leaving tremendous opportunities on the table that will dramatically change what you do, because the moment you start to create and understand the power of video marketing, all of a sudden now you'll be involved in the second largest search engine. So that's reason number 2. When you don't have a video marketing strategy, that's a significant reason why people are not finding you online. They're going online to look for information. People are going onto YouTube to search for videos about their legal problem. You should be there, not your competitors. Reason number 3, you don't laser focus on a topic. One of the most amazing things about video is that it allows us the ability to go ahead and laser focus on the ideal type of client and the ideal type of case we would like to handle. Now, I'm not saying, hey, you should create a video just because you want to handle a certain case. That's not a good strategy. Instead, if you go back to some of the titles I mentioned at the very beginning, think about exactly who this video is for. Why I discontinued a case against 2 gynecologists in a failure to diagnose breast cancer case. Who's that video for? It's for someone who thinks there was a failure to diagnose breast cancer, and now they're intrigued. They want to know why I would start a lawsuit against 2 doctors and now at some point discontinue it. It's ideal for that type of case. You always have to focus on who is your ideal client, what are their pain problems, what keeps them up at night, because if you can create content focusing on their problems, all of a sudden you are already ahead of the game. So now, again, you want that effect. So when they press that play button, all of a sudden they believe you're talking to them about their exact problem. Video is not the opportunity for you to say, hey, we handle 12 different areas of law, and as a result of that, you should come to us because we handle these different areas of law. Guess what? If you take that approach, you will have lost the viewer forever, and they will not come back. Why? Because you've distracted them. So video allows you the ability to laser focus on a specific type of case, on a specific type of problem, and I want to share something really important with you right now. I have to tell you that there is no other media that we attorneys use today that is as remarkable as video, and here's what I mean. There is no other media that we can create one time and now have it work for us 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, forever. You invest in creating it one time, get it up online, and now it works for you forever without any further investment. That's what's so remarkable about video, and the fact is that people are actually going online to look for information. Now, if you look at other forms of media that we attorneys use to market our practices, such as TV ads, radio, billboards, magazines, newspaper ads, all of those things do work, but you have to keep pouring lots and lots of money into it every time you want to run it. And remember, unless you have an endless supply of money, which I don't know anybody who does, but if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But from a marketing standpoint, video allows you the ability to do something that no other media can do, and that is invest in it once, get it up and working for you forever, which is a fantastic thing, very important to keep in mind. Now, reason number 4 why your ideal client is not connecting with you online is that you might be copying other attorneys. Now, I want to share with you that just this few years ago, I was up in Boston masterminding with some really smart attorneys from across the country, and we're listening to what works and what doesn't. And, you know, let's say there's an attorney in California who's telling us about a strategy that he uses to generate calls into his office. And I'm thinking, hey, I could use that strategy. I'm going to copy his strategy and now apply it here in New York. Well, that you can do. But I guarantee you that if you try and do the same thing with video, you are going to not work. It's not going to work for you. And there's a significant reason for that. So now what's happening is You won't understand. If you try and copy another attorney's video, you won't typically understand the clear motivating factors that's going to compel someone to pick up the phone and call. You won't understand the psychology behind what goes into that video. And now, I also have to share with you that most attorney videos, you'll find so many of them still standing in front of a bookcase. Why do they do that? The whole goal when you're creating video is to be different. You want to stand out, and you don't want to be the same like everybody else. So copying other attorneys is a bad, bad idea. Don't do it. It's not going to work for you. Now, reason number 5, why you may not be connecting with your ideal clients who are searching for you online, is that you are still talking about yourself. I can't tell you how many attorneys across the country are still doing this. And you know what? I don't really blame the attorneys. I blame the video companies that are creating these videos for the attorneys. And that's because they tell them, listen, you need to create an attorney bio. You need to create information to tell people about who you are, your credentials, where you came from, and what motivated you to become an attorney when you were 5 years old. Well, I will share with you that I think that is the stupidest thing in the world, and I'll tell you why. And I have this conversation many times with attorneys and video companies, and they tell me, oh, but our attorney bio page on our website is the most viewed page in the world. I said, that's wonderful. And to feed your ego, you should create a video all about yourself. But the people who are watching it are only going to be your mother, your grandmother, your kids, your partner, and other attorneys, because the people who are online searching for you don't know you. They don't know anything about you. And more importantly, they don't care a bit about you. Think about this. Someone who doesn't know a lawyer, who's online looking for information, is searching for answers to their legal problems. They don't give a damn about us. They only want to know one thing. How can you help solve my problem? And the moment you begin to address their problem, all of a sudden you get that feeling of, hey, this guy's talking to me. This girl's talking to me. She knows what my problem is. And now you've captured their attention. And now they're going to watch the video and get interested in your content and then begin to explore more of your videos and your website and your articles and your FAQs. And what have you done? You've now taught them something they didn't know. You've now connected with them. You've now gained their trust. And I'm going to ask you a very important question in just a moment, something that's going to dramatically change how you think about marketing. So when you talk about yourself and your credentials, you are doing yourself absolutely no favor whatsoever. People who don't know you aren't going to find your website. The only way they're going to find your website and your attorney bio video is if they begin to trust you, they like what you have to say, and now you connect with them on some level. Then they'll go into your website, then they'll go into your attorney bio page and start looking and learning about you. But if you think that someone who's looking for information now really cares about why you decided to become a lawyer and what your community involvement is, they don't give a damn. They only want to know, I've got a legal problem. How can you solve my problem? And once you begin to focus on that, now things will dramatically change. Now I want to share with you a bonus right in the middle of my talk now. I want to share with you an incredible bonus that if you implement this, I promise you, you will revolutionize the way that you market your practice today. And here's what I mean. I'm going to challenge each and every one of you on this call to remove and eliminate the following words from your vocabulary. And the words are I, me, our, my law firm, our law firm. And if you remove those words from your marketing messages, you know what happens? Your message no longer is all about me, me, me. It's no longer attorney-centric. Rather, it's going to be all about you, the viewer, the reader, you, you, you. Now you're going to be able to connect with the viewer because you're teaching them something they didn't know. It's not, come to me because I'm great, I've been doing this 25 years, this is all about me and my law firm. Well, guess what? It's not. They don't care about us. So stop talking like cliches that you see in the yellow pages. It doesn't help you at all. And if you eliminate, I guarantee you'll be really, really tough at the beginning to do that. But once you start, I guarantee you it'll become second nature. And now you no longer ever have to talk about yourself or your law firm. Instead, start teaching people things that they didn't know. And I'm not talking about giving legal advice. Teach them, and I'm going to share with you a little bit later about some of the things you need to talk about. But I want to ask you this question. Well, before we get to the question, let's talk about some amazing statistics. By 2018, 84% of internet traffic will be video content, according to Cisco. This research just came out, I think, within the last week. 84%. Each year they've been indicating that this amount has been going up, and it's absolutely true. And I've seen that to myself. And if you're following any statistics on YouTube viewability, you will clearly recognize how significant this is. Next one. There are going to be nearly 4 billion internet users by the year 2018. How are you going to market yourself or get in front of any of those people if you don't have video to teach and educate people about the type of legal services you have to offer to them? There's going to be 21 billion network devices by the year 2018. Now, these statistics are remarkable. Next. You know, I want to share with you, you might be asking yourself, who am I and how am I giving you this information? Well, I wanted to tell you a little bit about me so that you get a clear understanding of where I came from and where I am right now. And I think it's important for you to understand before you even begin accepting any of what I'm telling you is true. So here's my family. This happens to be a vacation picture in St. Martin. My wife is to my right, and my mother-in-law, and I've got 4 great kids. And let me share with you, back in 2005, nope, not there yet, back in 2005, 2006, I was learning about something called education-based marketing, which basically said, teach people things. Teach them things they didn't know. And here I am, an attorney practicing for many years, on my own or with a firm, and now I began to realize, you know what? I can teach people things. I know a lot of stuff about med-mal and PI in New York. So I started writing articles. And then in the beginning of 2006, this little bizarre website came online, which had the phrase on its homepage that said, now accepting user-generated video content. And I thought to myself, that's really weird. I have no idea what that means. But I started to explore the site. And I saw that some smart marketing companies took attorney television ads, threw them up on this website. But I couldn't understand something. Why would anybody in their right mind want to watch a 30-second attorney television commercial screaming and yelling, saying, if you've been injured, pick up the phone and call me because I'm here and you should call me now? So what? Why? Why should I call you? Why shouldn't I call the next attorney and the next video, the next commercial or the next one? It didn't make any sense to me. But then I had this idea. I said, what if I were to actually create a video that taught people something? That would be really cool. But there was a big problem. The problem was I knew nothing about video. I knew nothing about audio. I knew nothing about lighting. And there was nobody in the country teaching anybody about that because this was brand new. And by the way, that little website was called YouTube. So now I had this great idea, but I couldn't figure out how to put it in use. So I actually had to have my kids show me how to turn on the webcam on my Mac computer, turn it on, and now try and figure out what to do about it. And I'm going to show you a screenshot of that video, which is probably the worst video in creation because it's dark, it's grainy, it's pixelated. But I will tell you that that video, I've been told that I was the first lawyer in the country to teach people something on video in the form of education-based marketing. And to me, that was the beginning of the video marketing revolution for attorneys, going back in 2006. And that was fascinating because I created a 6-minute video, and what was remarkable was that I got calls from that video. And when my secretary would leave for the day, my phone would be transferred to my cell phone. We'd be in the car going somewhere on speaker, and somebody would call in. They'd say, Mr. Oginski, I just saw your video about this topic. Can I ask you some questions? The same thing happened to me. And I'd look over at my wife, and you heard Stephanie say that she was my biggest detractor. It's true. She did not believe that anybody in their right mind would ever watch an attorney online. And that was remarkable. People would call. And I will tell you that now, fast forward 9 years, after lots of trial and error, because nobody taught me any of this, I will tell you that now I have over 1,200 videos on YouTube to market my solo practice in one of the most competitive markets in the country. And that's a fascinating thing. In the next 2 weeks, I'll hit a milestone of 1,300. I'm uploading video each and every day. So now I have over 1,200 videos of my own. I became so proficient at doing this, I actually created another company called the Lawyer's Video Studio to help other attorneys across the country do the same thing I was doing, to use video to attract my ideal client and consumer. And I speak across the country to thousands of attorneys each year. I'm a video producer, I'm a coach, a video guide. I've written a book called Secrets of Lawyer Video Marketing in the Age of YouTube. And if you stick around till the end, I'm going to show you how you can get a free copy of my book. Okay, so stick around for that. Now, I will also have to share one more statistic with you, and it's remarkable. Over the past 9 years, if you don't think that video marketing works, I'm going to dispel that myth. Over the past 9 years, I have been able to generate valid calls, which generated valid cases, which turned into settlements of $8.6 million over this period of time. So you won't find anybody else in the country that can say the same thing. And that's a remarkable statistic, and I'm very honored and privileged to say that. So let me share with you the next poll question. Take it away, Stephanie.
Great. Thank you, Gerry. And the next question is, are you a do-it-yourself attorney or are you a done-for-you attorney? And the selections are do-it-yourself attorney, done-for-you, or a little bit of both. So please go ahead and submit your questions now. I can see the answers coming in.
And the reason, Stephanie, why I'm asking this question is because once you create your video marketing strategies, you have to ask yourself, hey, am I the do-it-yourself kind of attorney who wants to do all this on my own, where I want to be a video producer, a video editor, or a video publisher, while at the same time practicing law? Or do you want to have somebody do this all for you? And the best way I can explain that is, let's say you have a problem with your sink. Are you the type of person to run to Home Depot, get all the tools, and spend the next 2 days fixing your sink? Or do you call a plumber and say, hey, I got a broken sink, you got to come now and fix it? You know, same thing with a hole in the roof. You always have to look and see, which one are you?
Okay, great. So I'll go ahead and share the results now. And it looks like 42% of you are do-it-yourselfers. Only 4%, a very small percentage of done for you, and 54% are a little bit of both. So what do you think about that, Gerry?
That's very interesting because that tells me that people want to try both. They want to see if they can do it on their own, or if they get stuck, now they're going to try and call for help and see if they can have somebody help them. And that's great because I'm the perfect do-it-yourselfer, but I had to learn by trial and error because there was nobody teaching me. But many attorneys simply say, hey, I don't want to do this on my own. I'm too busy practicing law. I know I need this marketing stuff. I want somebody to come in and do it for me who's tried and tested it and makes it happen. And so it's important to know which type of attorney you are. So I'm glad you answered that. Now, I have to illustrate a number of things to give you a clear understanding of how having a concise marketing strategy dramatically will help you. On July 22nd, this article appeared in the New York Post last summer. It involved a 48-year-old gentleman who arrived at JFK Airport in the international terminal and collapsed and died. And because this was a newly renovated terminal, the Port Authority officers, their swipe cards to gain access to him as first responders didn't work. So now their treatment was delayed. And the article suggested that that his death was caused by the delay in them getting to him timely. So I'm reading this at my kitchen table that morning on July 22nd, and I'm thinking to myself, how can I use this article to now try and attract my ideal client? Okay, this is where strategizing comes in. And so what I did was that morning I created a video. I put it up online later that afternoon, and exactly 4 days later, this is the email I received, and I redacted it, but the bottom is critical. It says, my best friend recently passed away at JFK Airport. We need to retain you to represent the family. We saw your YouTube video. I represent the family. 4 days later, exactly. This was remarkable, okay? And it was remarkable for a couple of key points that you need to know, and I'm going to share with you the key strategy here, the $1 million strategy in just a moment. Now, what do we know from this? Number one, we know that the family went online to look for information. Number two, there's a presumption in here. It says, we need to retain you to represent the family. And it doesn't say, hey, we're looking to talk to 3 different lawyers. We want to talk to you as one of them. It's the presumption that we want to hire you as our attorney. And third, we saw your YouTube video. Now, you should know that at no time did I optimize this video for the gentleman's name who died. Not in the headline, not in the description, not in the keywords, not in my video presentation. That just shows you the remarkable power of video. So it also shows you something else. And you have to ask, here's the question I mentioned before that I wanted to share with you. What could I possibly say in a 3-minute video that would get this family to begin to trust me, to get to know me, to want to hire me as their attorney? And that, the answer to that, is the $1 million strategy. Okay, I'm going to share it with you in just a moment. So if you think about it, how can you attract your ideal client using a laser-focused strategy and get people to know you, to like you, and to begin to trust you so that now they're compelled to pick up the phone and call you? And the answer is by creating a video that is interesting, compelling, educational, and now focuses on them, not you. So let me share with you the key strategy that I used to attract this particular call. Now, that was not my intended goal to try and attract that particular family. My ideal client as a med mal and PI and wrongful death attorney in New York was to attract families in similar situations. So again, I asked the question, what could I possibly say in a video that would get a family of a wrongful death matter to want to call me? And here's the answer. The answer is I created a video talking about this story as a jumping off point. I started to tell about this tragedy that happened without naming anybody. But then I now transitioned, and here's the important point you should be taking notes for. I now transitioned into here what we would have to prove in order to show that we had a valid case, a valid wrongful death case here in the state of New York. And now it allowed me the opportunity to go ahead and teach my ideal viewer about liability, causation, and damages. Okay? Pay attention to that. That's critical. I went ahead, started talking about the story, but that's only the first part of the video. Then I transitioned into, here's some of the things that we would have to prove in order to show that there was a valid wrongful death case here in the state of New York. That is remarkably different than a lawyer who simply gets on video saying, hey, we handle wrongful death cases, we handle medical malpractice cases, you should come to us because we're in practice 25 years. That's not a strategy. But now, I've now created a strategy to attract people in similar situations. And what am I doing? I'm teaching them something they didn't know. I'm not giving away secrets, but I'm giving away information that they didn't know. So now, they go online to look for information. Now I give them this information. Now they have the ability to watch another video that teaches them something, and another, and another, and another. Next thing you know, who do you think is much more likely to get a call? Someone who teaches them something they didn't know, provides them great information, or someone who's got a static video that basically doesn't talk much about anything and doesn't laser focus on having a clear strategy to attract a specific type of client? That's the power of video marketing. Once you begin to learn that, now you can begin to use that in every single marketing message you have, not just on video. So I guarantee you that if you begin to implement this particular strategy alone, that is worth $1 million to you, because what will happen is people will get interested. So the question I raise here is, does video marketing work? The answer is absolutely. These are just some examples of attorney fees that I've been able to generate from valid cases that came to me as a result of videos that I've created. And if you notice here, this one, I'm sitting on my balcony on a porch in Sanibel Island, Florida, while I'm on vacation. This is a case that I talked about, a specific cardiac malpractice case. Here's another case. I generated a fee of over $74,000. Another one, $48,000. You know, so this particular video you have to look at it and immediately ask yourself this question. What was this guy thinking? This is an attorney. He's an immigration lawyer. He's created a video, and you don't need to even hear what he's saying, but just look at it visually. He's got something hanging on the back of his wall, and what amazes me and shocks me even today is that that video is still up online. This is a clear example of really, really bad video. At least if you're going to shoot video, have the decency to look at it before you put it up online, because what will happen is that people watching this, he will have destroyed all of his credibility just by something as simple as this. It looks like you've got horns coming out of your head. And that's something you never want to do, because this clearly is not a spoof. This guy's really trying to educate people, but it's unfortunate he's standing in front of this particular object. All right, now I want to show you the worst video in creation. Okay, this is me. This was the very first video I created, and if you notice, there's a gray background in the back. I'm sitting in my home office. I didn't want people to see where I was, so I put up a projector screen. I'm sitting literally 7 inches away from my computer. You see the reflection in my eyeglasses. You see I'm wearing a jacket, shirt, and tie, but I'm actually wearing shorts. But I'm using the microphone on the computer, the webcam. Everything about this was bad. But you know what? In 2006, nobody knew any better, and I certainly didn't. Now you could never get away with creating a video like that. Everything is high definition today, and you have to use certain equipment to get a basic level of good quality video. This was the worst video ever. Now, let me share with you what to talk about on video, because you might be thinking, for those do-it-yourselfers who are now looking to create video on your own, what do I talk about? Well, one of the things that I do when I teach my lawyers' video studio clients about things to talk about, I spend a great deal of time focusing on who's your ideal client, what are their problems, what keeps them up at night, what things can you teach them that they don't know, because all of a sudden, you know, if you don't know the answers to those questions, what will happen is, like most video companies, they don't have an attorney as your video producer. And if they don't know who your ideal client is and what keeps them up at night and what problems they have, it doesn't matter what equipment you use, you will never attract them because you're not connecting with them. So that is the most critical component. People ask me all the time, what equipment should I use? I tell you right now, the type of equipment is nowhere near as significant as what to talk about. Because if you don't have a compelling message, don't know how to create your message, how to get that information across in a great, interesting way, you will have lost your viewer before they ever picked up the phone to call. They won't even do it. They'll just move on to the next video. So here are some things I'm going to go through rather quickly about what you can talk about. Every case you handle is a controversy. You can talk about controversy. And by the way, as a warning here, do not talk about active cases you are handling. It's just not good ethically. Okay? But every single case you've handled in the past has a controversy. Why can't you talk about it? Trends in the law, very, very important in your specific niche area of law. It is critical to talk about trends, what things are doing. Maybe a new case came down in your highest court. You can talk about a case. You can analyze a case. You can give your opinion about the case. Now all of a sudden, what are you doing? You're teaching people things that they didn't know before. You understand now? Now you're getting a concept of how to create a strategy to attract your ideal clients who are looking for this information. They're searching. So why aren't you out there giving them this information? And when you create this great information, you can then multi-purpose it to create great articles, blog posts, frequently asked questions, and so much more great information. You can talk about cases you've handled in the past. You can talk about procedures of how things work in your particular area of law. And by the way, I want to share another important point. Do not talk like a lawyer. Do not do it. You know why? Because people get turned off by stuffy lawyers who talk about subsection 7 in the penal law of the, whatever code you're talking about. Nobody cares. Instead, tell me about the concept behind that law. Nobody really knows, and nobody cares about the exact section, subsection, the article. Talk like a human being. Stop talking like a lawyer. It makes all the difference in the world. Now, the last part in red says stories. If you can learn to tell a story, you will dramatically improve your videos. whether you're starting out or have been doing this for a long time. And if you want to know why, it goes back to thousands of years. Think about how we communicated in the past, before the internet age, and before we had paper even. We're sitting around a campfire a couple hundred years ago. What are we doing? We're telling stories. What do we do at holiday time? Christmas, Hanukkah, Thanksgiving. When we get together with our families, we're sitting around the dinner table, and what are we doing? We're telling stories. You go out to dinner with your friends. You go to a restaurant, go to a bar. What are you doing? You're telling stories. People love stories. And the moment you begin to tell a story about something similar to what happened to them, what happened? You form that bond. You form that connection. They say, holy cow, he's talking about my problem. And that's what typically will generate a call that says, hey, Mr. Oginski, I just saw your video about this failure to diagnose breast cancer case. I went through the same thing. Can I ask you some questions? Now, all of a sudden, you have remarkably changed the way you market yourself, and people become interested in what you have to say, not what equipment you're using, but what you have to say. Now, every video needs what's called a call to action. Because if you create these videos in the form of a public service announcement, guess what? They're never going to call you. You have to gently and politely tell them what to do. Every single one of your videos. This is known as education-based direct response marketing. So now you've taught them great information. They've now listened to your entire video. Well, what do you want them to do next? What you want them to do is, if they have questions, pick up the phone and call. I can answer your legal questions. This is something I do every single day, and I'd love to talk to you. That's a call to action. You want them to go to a website? Great. You want them to go get a book of yours you've written? Terrific. Give them something to do, a call to action. You want to download this free report? Terrific. Just go here. Give them a specific call to action. Otherwise, they'll go away without ever taking any action. I want to share with you what YouTube looks at in order to determine where your videos get ranked. And this is very, very important. It used to be that YouTube would look primarily at the number of views a video got. So then you had companies that were gaming the system and inflating views, and people could actually buy views, which was unbelievably awful and totally unethical. But YouTube changed their algorithm. So this is what they look at. They look at the headline. They look at the description. They look at your keywords. Important, they look at the length of time your video is watched. They want to see if your video is getting any interaction. Are people liking it? Are they sharing it on social media? Are they commenting on it? If you just think you can put a video up online and hope that people will get to it, guess what? In 2006, that would be true because there was so little video content going up. But today, impossible. There are over 1 billion videos that are watched daily. And the number and content of video that is put up on a daily basis is astounding. And so if you think you can just put up a handful of videos, guess what? You are absolutely wrong. One of the success tips I want to share with you is that in order to stand out from the crowd and your competitors, the search engines actually love when you put up fresh new video content on a consistent basis. And that means you're not just going to put up 5 or 10 videos one time, leave it there and hope somebody calls you. You can't do that. You've got to do so much more. You have to support all of those videos with other matters, supplement them. You've got to supplement them with articles, with blog posts, with frequently asked questions, with all of your social media, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Because if you don't do that, you're leaving tremendous opportunities on the table. And again, you're missing clear strategic opportunities to get people to find your stuff that they are looking for and to connect with you. Video allows you to build trust by teaching and educating. And that's how they become interested in what you have to say. And you can't do that by simply shouting out saying, hey, come to me because I've been in practice 25 years and we give personal attention and we care and we work harder than anybody else. Well, that's what every TV ad says. That's what every ad in the Yellow Pages says. Stop saying those messages. They mean nothing. Instead, create content, and you've got to create that long-term strategy that says, okay, we're now going to create video on a regular, consistent basis. We're now going to pump out video every single month. We're going to do it every week, every couple of days. You know, when people ask me how often I create video, They tell me they're creating video once every couple of months. I said, the point is, when they ask how many videos they should be creating, you should always be creating content and have a strategy on how to do that. Me personally, I will create video probably once a week and then get 2 or 3 videos up online a day, which is astounding. You won't find anybody else as an attorney who's doing that. But for me personally, it works. And there's another key reason why you would want to do that. You want to do that because not only are you putting out great information for people to find, but at the same time, you have an indirect benefit of pushing out your competition. And they won't even realize it until it's too late. So the indirect benefit will help you over time. And the more that you put up, the more that YouTube and Google will reward you. Now, here's another bonus tip that I shared with this mastermind group the other day. One of the things that you should be doing, if you are not yet, even if you are using video, when you have content on your website, let's say you wrote an article about some topic in your particular area. If you created a video that's similar to what you wrote about, you should be taking that video and literally embedding it onto that web page. YouTube came out with a statement last summer that basically said, we actually reward websites for putting embedded YouTube videos on people's websites. So the question I have for everybody on the call is, why aren't you doing it? YouTube is going to reward you over time, so do it. Start. And if you haven't started, get going. All right, Stephanie, here's poll number 3.
Great, yes, that's a great lead into our last poll. If you could create something one time and have it work for you forever, would that be something you'd invest in? So select one of the following. Yes, I'm all for it. I still need to be convinced, or no, why would I make it so easy? So please go ahead and submit your answers there. And it looks like you're all answering very quickly. So I'll go ahead and close the poll now and share our results. 88%, we have a very motivated crowd. 88% said yes, I'm all for it. 10% still need to be convinced. And 2% are not going to be creating a video anytime soon. But those are some great numbers. 88% are all for it, Gerry.
That's terrific. And that's really important to understand once you realize how powerful video marketing is. Let me share with you another quick story involving the power of video marketing and having a clear and concise strategy. I received a call from a gentleman who was very angry, not with me, but he had just gotten off the phone with his sister. And his sister had told him that she had just been diagnosed with stage 3B breast cancer, and she was only 23 years old. He was furious, not furious with her. After learning that she had made a complaint a year and a half earlier to her gynecologist and now had certain follow-up done, but that nobody followed up with her to communicate the results of the test, he was furious with the doctor who treated her initially. Now, he didn't know an attorney, so what did he do? He went online to look for information. What did he look for? He looked for information on failure to diagnose breast cancer. And what did he find? And I asked him this question specifically. He said, I found your videos, which led me to another video, to another, all about failure to diagnose breast cancer cases. And that prompted him to pick up the phone and call me to say, Mr. Oginski, my sister was just diagnosed with this condition. I think she has a case. Can I ask you some questions? That prompted him to call his sister, who then called me. We investigated her case. It turns out she had a valid case. After 2.5 years of litigation, I settled that case for $1.6 million. So now, had he not found those videos, he would not have connected with me, gotten to realize that I have information he needed. And that's why it is so critical that you have a clear and concise video marketing strategy for each and every video that you create. Remember, you create it one time, you get it up online, use all the other available tools to you to supplement that video, to promote that video, and now you increase your chances dramatically that when someone is actively searching for that information, they will find not only your article, they will find your blog post, they will find your frequently asked question, they will find your video, which then leads them into your website or to more videos you've created. And do you begin to realize how important this cycle is? It's a critical thing. That's what prompts them to pick up the phone and call. And now when you understand how to do this, it is an amazing strategy. And now that you've stayed with me the entire length of time throughout this call today, again, I want to thank you for being on this call. I want to give you the opportunity to learn even more about how video marketing works. And so you can always go online to Amazon, buy my book. It's $16.95 softcover, $29.95 for hardcover. But since you've been kind enough to stay with me and to learn these tactics and strategies to implement for your firm, I want to give you a free PDF copy of my book. All you have to do is go down to gerrysvideobook.com, Gerrys, videobook.com. Just enter your name and email, and you'll get an immediate copy of that. And you'll see even more information about tips and strategies on using video marketing. You'll see some great testimonials from attorneys across the country who have participated with me in creating video for their own practices. Oh, let me share with you this amazing testimonial I got from this attorney the other day, a gentleman named Greg Stokes in Atlanta. Very, very sharp attorney, very smart guy. He called us in to come and help him create video. And I'm at breakfast with him the other day, and he tells me, listen, I just settled the case for $500,000. And I said, that's wonderful. Congratulations. He said, no, but what's so important is how he came to me. I said, how? He said, this gentleman found his video that we created for him. And as a result of that video, the gentleman called him. He had a valid case, and ultimately he was able to settle that for $500,000. Again, that's just one story of how video marketing can work. And whether or not you're in the personal injury field, whether you do real estate, transactions, it doesn't matter. The point is, when people are going online to look for information, they want to know certain things. They don't want to know what things that you want to tell them. They want to know what's in it for them. How do you solve my legal problem? And the moment you begin teaching them something they didn't know, educating them, all of a sudden you become the go-to expert without ever you having to say, hey, come to me because I'm an expert. That is the clear reason why video marketing works. And if you have not yet got onto video, don't wait. Just make that decision about whether or not you're going to go ahead and become a do-it-yourself attorney, or whether you're going to look for someone to help you do it all yourself. And Stephanie, before we leave today, I want to share with you, everybody on the call, I want to share one last important thing that I think will help everybody. I know that most attorneys, when they are creating their strategies, creating their content, they often get stuck and frustrated about what do we talk about? How do we talk about this? What's our long-term strategy? What's our long-term goal? If you don't mind, what I'd like to do, and I'm probably going to get overwhelmed with this, I want to give everybody on this call the opportunity to have a call with me, and I will literally help you personally create your video marketing strategy. So maybe I'm overreaching here. Maybe I'm going to get inundated with lots of calls and questions, but I think it's really important for everybody on the call, regardless of whether you're a do-it-yourself attorney or you want somebody to do it for you, or whether you have started video or you haven't. My thing that I'll offer to you right now is I encourage you. Reach out to me. I will be happy to get on a call with you and help you map out your video marketing strategy so that you and your law firm can create a strategy. And then you'll decide how you want to implement those strategies. And if you need help doing that, I'm here to help as well. So I encourage everyone on this call to take advantage of that, because I think it's really important to get you going to improve the strategies you're currently working on, or if you haven't taken that step to start your videos, now a brief call with me is going to help you understand, here's what you need to do next. Here's what you need to look at. Here's what you need to focus on. So I think that's going to help everybody on the call, no matter whether you're a newbie just starting out with video or have been doing it for a while. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's been informative and educational. And importantly, I hope it's gotten you motivated and eager to want to create great content for your ideal clients and consumers, because it's so important for us as attorneys. Because when we do that, not only are we viewed as being somebody who's giving great information, but remember, you're not focused on me. It's all about you. And that's the critical thing, and that makes all the difference in the world. So I want to thank everybody on this call today. I'm Gerry Oginski. Take me up on my offer. Reach out to me at my email, Gerry@lawyersvideostudio.com. Stephanie, I want to thank you and MyCase for hosting this great webinar.
Thank you so much, Gerry. That was fantastic and very motivating. And so for those of you who have to leave us before questions, please do take note of 3 things we have on this slide. MyCase offers a free 30-day trial. And also, in addition to that, because you attended this webinar today, you get a bonus discount. So there's a promo code at the bottom of your screen there. Secondly, please take a moment to answer the survey questions that will be sent to you shortly. And also, if you joined us in the middle, or if you just wanted a recording of this session, that will be emailed to you tomorrow, and it will also be posted on the MyCase blog. And so, Gerry, we have some fantastic questions that came in during your presentation, so I'll go ahead and read some of those to you.
Okay.
Michael asks, how do you come up with these titles for your video?
That's one of the key things that you have to do, and it's one of the key strategies that I teach. And so just as a brief example, what I want you to do is I want you to take out a pen and paper after we get off this call. And then I want you to identify your ideal type of client and your ideal type of case. And then in your mind, I want you to think about every possible type of question